Hey everyone, Chip here with another preview and predictions video. I hope you're all doing well wherever you are. This time we are taking a look at the upcoming 8th round of the F1 2019 Championship, the French Grand Prix. But first we need to address the elephant in Canada. That incident. Now, I won't go into who's right and who's wrong, because, well, there are plenty of other F1 involved individuals out there with, far more knowledge on the F1 rules than me. And I'm sure you all have a certain opinion about it all. So, it's not for me to say who's right and who's not. What I will say though, and this might get a bit controversial, is that the incident in Canada was the best thing to happen in the Formula One world in a long time. Now, hear me out. This is not in regard to the championship. Hell, if you're not a Mercedes/Hamilton fan, you wouldn't want another silver victory. No, my claim is in regard to the entire F1 community. I have never seen so much emotion after a Grand Prix since the dawn of the hybrid era. Everyone had and still has something to say about the incident. Everyone. Be it pro, be it against, or anything in between, the amount of F1 talk, especially online, was astonishing. And in a season as, let's be honest here, dull as this one, this outpour of emotion was the best thing to happen in the F1 community. Let's say, for the sake of it, the penalty was never applied. Two scenarios. The first one, Vettel would have won from pole position and scored his and Ferrari's first win of the season in the 7th round. Hardly a championship charge. Or the second scenario, Hamilton would have overtaken the Ferrari on track and cruised to another Mercedes victory. No major headline here either. But as it happened, we, the F1 community, had something to talk about for days and days and weeks. Hell, we're still talking about it. That's why I think it was the best thing to happen in Formula One in a while. It gave us some great topics to discuss. It invited us to express our opinions. And in such a boring season as the one we're having at the moment, that can't be a bad thing. So yeah, those are my 2 cents on it, but please make sure to leave a comment below with your opinion on the incident, because I'd love to hear from you all. Right, onwards to the actual preview. But first, one massive shout out to super vlogger Michelle, a fan of this channel for quite some time. Michael, thank you. Thank you for supporting my long and occasionally interesting videos. After its re-emergence on the F1 calendar last year, Circuit Paul Ricard now hosts the 8th round of the F1 2019 season. The current layout of 5.8 kilometers features 15 corners, including the Mistral chicane, with the race being disputed over 53 laps for a total racing distance of 309 kilometers. With a combination of fast, flowing sections and stop-start corners, both the tire stress and the lateral forces are quite high around Paul Ricard. The asphalt's grip and abrasion are slam-bang in the middle of the spectrum, with the track evolution not really a factor around here. As for the aero packages, this will have to provide both the necessary downforce out of the corners, but also limit the drag on the straights. A balancing act, so to speak. On the tires front, Pirelli brings in the C2, C3 and C4 compounds, which, in theory, this should keep open a two-stop strategy for most of the field. The weather looks calm and sunny with absolutely no chance of rain whatsoever at the time I'm recording this. Now, how about some things to look forward to this weekend? Number 1, Ferrari asking for a review. Yep, simple as that. Ferrari have requested for the incident in Canada to be reviewed after providing the FIA with more data and fresh evidence. I just hope that this review, regardless of the outcome, doesn't do more harm than good. Number 2, Ferrari with a revised package. Not a new concept, but rather an evolution of the current one. Good. Anything to catch Mercedes. Number 3, Renault coming home. the French team is playing on home turf this weekend, so naturally some upgrades are on the cards. And frankly, after their brilliant display in Canada, they really need to keep this momentum going. Number 4, Haas versus McLaren. The midfield is just as tightly packed now as it was at the start of the season. But here in France, at this particular kind of circuit, the title of best of the rest has to go to either Haas or McLaren, or Renault if the upgrades work. And number 5, the rebirth of Daniel Kvyat continues. So, apart from the two Mercs, Vettel and Verstappen, Toro Rosso's Kvyat is the only driver that scored points in the last 3 races. Let that sink in for a moment. Last year, this chap was out of Formula 1 for good. Now he is one of the key players in the midfield. Top job, Daniel. Top job. Right, France equals wine, so the drinking game for the French Grand Prix goes like this. 1 sip for every pit stop and overtake, 2 sips for every mention of the runoff areas, the brightly colored runoff areas by the commentary team, and down your drink if Mercedes fails to win. Which leaves us with the small matter of the predictions. Starting from pole position, Lewis Hamilton. Fastest lap of the race, Pierre Gasly with a late free pit stop, P10 to P5 at the end of the race. Hülkenberg, Norris, Magnussen, Sainz, Gasly and Verstappen. P4 Charles Leclerc, P3 Sebastian Vettel, P2 Lewis Hamilton, and the winner in quite some time, Valtteri Bottas. But please, please let it be a ding-dong battle at the front, because as exciting as the midfield battles are at the moment, we need some proper F1 battles up front as well, sharply. And that's it, those are my predictions for the 2019 French GP. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Please let me know in the comments. Also, any other F1 related question you may have, ask away. I'll be more than happy to try and answer it for you. Hit that like button if you think I've earned it, maybe the subscribe button as well if you haven't done so already, and please make sure to share this video with a racing fan. As always, I've been Chip. You can find me on Twitter at chip_DGS and on facebook.com/digitalgrandstand. Get your headache cure ready, because those runoff areas are worse than a hangover. Cheers. An evolution bollocks with with far and I'm sure you all have what slash to the championship.